Why waste this gold?
Yeah, why waste it? What I really need is reactive glasses. Because there's no way you don't look like anything but a dick when you've got those reactive lenses on. Like, you talk to someone, and then midway through conversation, you just can't see their eyes anymore. You're like, mate, make your mind up. Just carry 2 pairs. That's
I
fucking
think
stupid.
that's quite nice though, because the other person you're talking to's got to try harder, haven't they, then to keep your attention.
Yeah, imagine if it didn't go from the power of the light, but it went from how interested you were in their conversation that it just
from your
faded out.
level of ADHD kind of thing, just
it just went to mirrors, or it carried on, or it actually just put like a second pair of eyes over the top, so your real ones could shut, and you could go to your happy place.
but like they change colour and that, and fucking if you look deeply into them, you can see like a little tiny person sort of slowly dancing. Just inside the pupil.
Yeah, that's my happy place. I'm a dancer.
A trapper. I'm trapping people in small confined spaces.
Trappers are people. No, you're more of a trapper. That's people who make shit out of furs and pelts and stuff.
That's people
surely
that
you've
trap
played
animals
Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, we can't focus on that again.
There'll be none this week. I've played 0 games. I actually went out in the nature and did nature shit. I say I did nature shit. It was a fishery, like it was a very suspect location as well. For those who don't know, by the way, we've started the show. Hello.
I was hoping we had by this point. To be honest.
It's hello. It's Troof. You know, I don't know what there's. Fuck the intro. You've clicked the thing. You must be listening in some way, shape, or form. So we don't really need to introduce because it's 25th show. And still people, at least 3 people are still listening. So we're going to do 2 hours instead of the normal 1 hour. Jack's set, he's got his fucking, I don't know, dressing gown / Sherpa hoodie.
I don't know what this is called, man. You ask me this every now and then. It's like you're trying to embarrass me, but I couldn't give a fuck, mate.
Not
I've got hair down past my nipples. No. This thing that's like a dress. The pyjama bottoms, mate, as well, you know. I'm almost middle class here with pajamas and that, you know, fluffy ones and that.
Yeah, I was a bit
These are fucking, you know, don't expect too much though. They've not been washed in a month. You know,
that's fair.
Some things are, you know, you got to keep in touch with your roots and that.
Yeah.
And if you look very closely, I'll show you. I don't mind sharing this with you, Jimmy. They are.
Oh,
you know, it's not all a life of luxury under here in this cupboard.
That was a prime hole in the sock. That was a beauty. It was right just before the toes as well, on the ball of the foot almost.
Just before it gets irritating. It's an all right place for it to be.
But it's also somewhere it's coming in a lot of contact. Not like the arch. If you've got like a quite a high arch, I mean, I've got. I don't want to brag, but I've got a fucking ridiculously high arch. I don't know what that means. Are you good
at running? Does that mean you're fast at running? Because if you're flat-footed, aren't you a shit runner and bad at sneaking?
I don't know, but I've broken my ankles a kind of few times, so it makes us really bad at trying to stay upright. I imagine. Apparently, it's what you call dancer's feet because it makes them nimble and shit. Perhaps if I didn't have like a load of chunk up top to try that they had to support, maybe I could be nimble and a bit more agile. But
maybe your weight like above your waist is helping keep the arch where it is. If you lose any more weight, you'll just be on your heels and your toes and be like some form of freak, like a fucking. Is it a sapphire? The fucking goat men.
Oh yeah,
that's how people's feet turn into hooves.
Mate, that's the best excuse for like staying fat I've ever heard. Like I've come up with them all over the last few months with COVID, and like that is I've never thought of that. Sometimes your folklore knowledge pays off, it really does.
Not very often though. And this week's got fuck all to do with it, but I still shoehorned it in.
No, it might. The thing is, mate, it might do. We've got 2 hours to fill. And I can only imagine that you've done about as much work for this as I have. But I mean, I tell you what I did do.
Go on.
I made notes on my 9/11 notepad.
It
says never forget.
Never forget.
And it's got the Twin Towers on there.
Does it actually?
Yeah, it's got.
Hold it a bit further back from the camera. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's awful. who's selling them?
Shit. His name's on the back of the notepad. I tell you what, in a bit.
It's a really weird angle though to have the photograph from the top of the building.
I've got
like looking out. It's not a view that you see very often.
Yeah, it's the if you look close enough, it's actually. I mean, the reason it's blurred is because the bloke's actually in the middle of his 18th somersault on the way down. It's really hard to get focus when you're at terminal velocity. You know what I mean? So
It's now quadruple. It's the quadruple towers.
It's not.
The lens wasn't quite quick enough.
Imagine you got on a time lapse; they'd look even longer. You've
got ages to get to the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah. You could do a panoramic shot and just keep it straight. And then, whoever managed to find that footage, it'd be obviously disgusting. You've got to dig through bodies, you've got to recover people and all that. But at the end, they're like, "Hey, this fucking first ever panoramic image I've seen that's actually any good and doesn't have some sort of ridiculous like glitch in it. This is fantastic. We found the real way to take a panoramic image." And
this is a panoramic image that could have saved someone's life as well. Really, if you made the Twin Towers into some form of weird Morbius loop, then you'd have time, wouldn't you? Like nothing but time. Could you argue that was actually possibly the deadliest chemtrail ever?
Now that's a unique argument to explain 9/11. That it wasn't a hijacked plane. It was a chemtrail plane, and they had to go. The chemtrail plane started going off course. They're like, shit, we've got to come up with a fucking cover story here. We can't tell the fucking news that a chemtrail plane's gone rogue. So we go, right, terrorist, they've hijacked the plane. Right, that's it.
They thought of it on the wing.
On the fly.
Oh, no. Oh. It's a game of tennis. This.
Yeah, it's a good... But...
Well, they could have been trying to disperse a chemical that was so light that if it was dispersed from above the height of a building, it'd just get sucked up into the atmosphere.
So that's why I didn't see any on the ground.
Aluminium.
Didn't see any on the ground, because there was no residue after. I was going to say, if it was chemtrails, there'd have surely been some sort of residue over most of New York afterwards. But I've got no qualms. Sound right, ticked off. Fuck.
That's it. I was 9 minutes in.
I was going to go into
get
fucking.
Gary back on.
I was going. I was going to bring up 9/11 a little bit because the premise of this show initially, I mean, it's going to go. It's going to touch the sides. We're never going to hit the middle. We never do. We're always rare in the middle.
I could never hit both sides at once.
Just got to go round the edge.
Yeah, you got to pick an angle and stick with it.
It was meant to be like conspiracies that people don't really talk about anymore. That aren't really in the forefront of the conspiracy world anymore. And also, well, we'll come on to the other bit a little bit later on. More anti-science and science versus other ideas later on. Other. I don't know. I want to say faiths now because I think science is a little bit of a religion in some way. So we'll come at that later. But 9/11, we're going to totally disregard the whole Bin Laden connection. We're going to disregard that Bin Laden family being at the White House like a matter of days or weeks beforehand. We're going to disregard the passports that were just, I mean, so well preserved. I don't know where those passports are made, but fuck me. We should be making everything out of whatever those passports are made of because that shit's indestructible.
I think it gives a wrong sort of impression of what New Yorkers are supposed to be like as well, because aren't most of them supposed to be like connected with thieving and not in like quick hands? So the idea that anything would still be left on the ground.
It's not fair. It's not fair. I mean, you can flog those easy for a couple £100 in the black market.
Oh, $60 easily if you want to get rid of them in the hour.
Although that's a pretty hot one. Imagine if...
Literally in every aspect, I would imagine.
You just fucking pass that one on, and then the person who gets it's like, oh, I'm buzzing here, I can get in the club tonight, 21.
Go for a flight.
Fucking absolute...
Damn you, DB Cooper.
And another one, that man... which, I mean, most people will probably already have an idea about DB Cooper, but that man, if he did land, which there's some argument to say that he did, there's been sort of instances of him apparently popping up since, but what a mush if he did manage to... We'll come back to 9/11, don't worry, we sidetrack. This is fine. But what a mush if he did manage to get away with what he did. And he did it in the most polite and gentlemanly way possible.
Apart from like taking people hostage, threatening to kill them on an aeroplane if they didn't provide his money. But other than that, though, like,
I said most gently. I said possible.
Yeah,
you've got to think without some sort of threat, like something as complex as a hijacking of a plane isn't really probable or possible. He did it in the most gentle. Did he actually kill anyone? No. He was all...
Apart from possibly himself.
That's it.
If it was all an elaborate suicide attempt. It's just like, how can I fuck over and scare as many people as possible and ruin everything for other Americans? That's why I brought him up, innit, saying, damn you, D.B. Cooper. He's the reason why conspiracy theorists believe Americans now need ID to fucking get on a plane and that.
Yeah, without realising that the rest of the world needs to do it.
Yeah.
and has done for a very long time. Although I get it in America, because it's a massive land space, it's their internal flights are pretty much like fucking buses or trains. Like, they're happening all the time. They're necessary for loads of people for work, shit like that. So, in a way, I get it, but at the same time, I think if you get, like, I've got to show my ID sometimes to get in a venue, just so I can have a beverage or something like that. Like, if I've got to get up in a highly pressurised thing that is quite frequently the target of some sort of attacks and shit like that, I, at the very least, expect to be asked what my name is and to prove it with a picture of my face. Like,
no, I would want everyone else to do that. I know I'm not going to do that, but I'm more comfortable knowing that everyone else has had to go through that rather than myself. I trust myself to not go mental for a number of hours, like, to hold it all back, you know.
Well, it's more at the point that I know I'm a fucking idiot and they're letting me on, so who the fuck else are they letting on? Like, please check mine, because I know if you're checking mine, you're checking fucking that bloke over there who's been talking to himself for the last 20 minutes and he's getting a little bit red in the face. I'm not too happy about it.
He's walking very funny on that left shoe of his.
So do you reckon that DB Cooper was actually it was just a staged event? It was a staged event by a TSA. Well, it was the long game. It was
like
a bunch
of teaching assistant.
No, the TSA is the American the TSA is like the American sort of fucking do your search at the border, like at airports and shit like that. It's the one that people complain about loads because since 9/11, like, they've started to think they're an authority.
Well, they've now got an actual like job. Because before that, they weren't really just tapping you on the arse if they like the look of you.
Well, that's it. Well,
you look all right. Go on.
What if it was like just What if it was like just a long game that people who just want to touch people at the people with a kink of wanting to dress in uniform and touch like unwitting customers up. Like, what if that was their, like, right, well, we can't do it, but just so other generations don't have to suffer the pain that we've had to suffer by not being able to touch people up at airports, we're going to get this bloke to stage a hijacking, jump out the back. He'll die. It's fine. Don't worry about it. No one will ask who he is. No one will remember DB Cooper. Honest. And then, like, our sons and daughters. I don't know why you'd want that for your own kids, but whatever. We'll go with it.
I've struggled my whole life in this job. I've never been able to sexually abuse another person on this job.
I want
to make it so that my daughter can work in an airport and molest whoever she fancies.
Yeah, and let's hope she gets a job at the airport and doesn't have to go through it. But yeah, that was their long game. They were like just setting it up for the kids, and fucking well done to him. Brilliant.
Yeah, that was it, yeah. And I know that that's not going to be the most ridiculous thing we're going to say this show.
No, I was going to bring up. I was going to bring up the 4 dancing Israelis as we were talking about 9/11. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
I haven't.
So the 4 dancing Israelis is a theory based on a few bits of footage. Based on a few things. There was an image circulating of a few people dancing on a building in New York, near when the towers were like collapsing. There were 4 names put forward. And there was a theory that like these four dancing Israelis, it was essentially like a Jewish conspiracy plot to then frame like like Muslim terrorists or Muslim Muslim extremists for this attack in order to start a war. Essentially, some just another. I mean, you'll find this a lot in conspiracy, as we've talked about already. There's a lot of anti-Semitic shit, quite a lot.
Yeah. Well, everything seems to. A lot of people seem to go, tie it in with that one.
It's an easy one.
With, add
it's
it to
an
that.
easy one too, and like. It's a big one. It's an obvious one. Like I'm guessing you know about the protocols of the Elders of Zion.
Yeah, the thing that was it Henry Ford or Hitler supposedly had drawn up to try and fucking make it look like the Jews were going mental.
It was older than that. It was Protocols of the Elders of Zion, and it started in like Russia, I believe, that area, like years before. But it's influenced since. It's influenced since. So it influenced Hitler. Henry Ford dished out, I think it was something like 700,000, paid for 700,000 copies or something to be dished out for free. And distributed, because that bloke really didn't like Jewish people.
But hasn't it been proven that that's not real?
Oh, 100%, it's bollocks. Yeah. It's propaganda. But it doesn't stop it from being used and being the basis of many. You'll also find that book is the basis of so many theories so far down the line. Like, there's connection even to sort of QAnon shit now. Like, a lot of the stuff preached in QAnon is like Protocols of Elders of Zion shit, just remixed. Like, this happens. Yeah, this happens a lot in conspiracy. It's the same. Think of it like music. It's like the originals get brought out. You got Illuminati. You've got fucking chemtrails. You've got Protocols of Elders of Zion.
Skull and Bones.
Well, yeah, and then what happens is with the originals, with every generation or every iteration that comes after, they pick and sample, and you've got to have something that relates. The people who are into that audience are gonna be like, oh yeah, I know about that, so I'm gonna buy into this. That makes sense because that's got to make sense because every conspiracy is fucking connected in the conspiracy world. That is the thing as well. Like everything is connected. It's like that makes no sense at all. But
it does though if you believe in the simulation theory.
No, because simulation. Well.
If you enjoyed 9/11, then maybe you'll enjoy our latest hits.
Yeah.
It's like that, isn't it? Like them fucking adverts for like fucking the albums you'd buy with fucking 80 songs you've never heard.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. But they're just remixed. They're just taking little bits of taken and we'll change little bits to go to ours, but to like fit into our theory. So in Protocols of Elders of Zion, there was one of the things that was mentioned was like blood libel, which is like claiming the blood of kids to stay young and like stay for rejuvenation, power, etc. And that with QAnon was just remixed and rehashed to be adrenochrome with
and aimed
kids.
At was it the Republicans or the Democrats? It was aimed at one of them.
It was aimed at Republican. It was aimed at Democrats, and aimed at Hollywood as well. Because during the pandemic, a lot of the QAnon lot were like showing pictures of celebrities and royals looking down and looking like not very healthy, and saying it was withdrawal symptoms from adrenochrome because the pandemic's obviously slowed down the adrenochrome supply. Because obviously the elite, the ruling elite, who do apparently even in the eyes of conspiracy theorists are in control of everything, therefore in control of the pandemic, they hadn't prepared. Even though they have the power to, because they're elite and they control everything, they hadn't gone, right, there's going to be a pandemic, right? And I don't know about you lads, but I'm going to carry on sniffing adrenochrome like it's canny good. And if we're going to shut down for a year, I'm going to need canny bit of adrenochrome. So can we either set up a little trade route, or can we just fucking ship a load of kids in at once and have them stored somewhere? Because we've got to fucking build the stash, you know what I mean? They're not that stupid. So to say that...
Why not just factory farm them, though?
There's an argument to say they do that. That's what the lower classes are for. You stick a load of poor people in a place.
I mean, like, literally... No, I don't mean, like, the projects and that. I mean, literally factory farming where... You know how they've got them, like, the multi-story... Like, in China now, they've got the multi-story fucking pig farms.
Yes.
Why not just have them, but like on two of the floors? Say like maybe put them on the bottom floor because heat rises in a building, innit? So that they're not gonna it's not gonna stink of shit. Make it at least pleasant for them or more pleasant for them if you're gonna enslave a group of people in a pig farm. But then breed them in there and be like, oh fucking you live in here now. We're gonna come in every 12 months. We're gonna circle you around the rooms. We fucking sling one up you. We'll give it a few months. Love the kiddie. Harvest the blood, and off you go. We'll put you back out to pasture. You get to run around with the pigs, and look after the pigs, and then we'll bring you back in. We'll horse one up you again.
Same, and history repeats itself.
Yeah,
But this is exactly if low life such as us, who aren't even elite, can think of instances of how to fix a situation. What they're gonna obviously have a fucking plan. So QAnon beats itself there by discrediting the elites who apparently are elite. I mean, boom, roasted. We're just smashing them today, mate. So we've solved 9/11. That was chemtrails. It was nothing to do with Israelis. It was nothing to do with the Bin Laden family. It was nothing to do with the Saudis. It was nothing to do with. I mean, I don't. What's your theories on 9/11 while we're here? We may as well. I mean, we've got time.
I have always, I've even before the Spider-Man film came out, I figured it would be a good idea to try something like that. But I feel like I knew fucking LimeWire ruined me, mate. LimeWire ruined me. I'd find fucking weird videos on there with that were attached to albums and watch them. Never like beheading videos or out like that, but just fucking what I now know are cranks and probably mentally ill people. But they'd rant or they'd record themselves ranting, sometimes to music, and it would be like really shit rap. But it wasn't rap at all. Thinking back, it were just mentalists, and they'd be telling you like how things happened and that. But I figured it was fucking some form of like a fake picture around a rocket or something, which now would be you'd say hologram for it now, I guess. Which kind of brings us on to my other idea of a conspiracy theory that died out a little, like fucking Tupac sightings are down.
You brought this up, and this is the only bit of information we've shared ahead of this podcast. Is one of the messages was Tupac sightings are down, and this is a very good one to bring up. There's not enough. Again, though, we've just had a year where everyone's been shut inside, so that.
Even before that, though, the last time I heard of Tupac sightings was like 2013, 2014, and it was a video of him in the car park.
Yeah, you don't see him.
Even then, it wasn't a video of him. It looked nothing like him.
Who else used to get brought up a lot who went missing? There's a load of, like, Diana's been seen since. She pops up everywhere. Pub in Cardiff. Fucking outside Asda in fucking Birmingham. Like, she's all hour. She's missions. She's out kayaking in Margate.
Don't penny for the guy outside the petrol station as well.
On the BP? Or was it the Jet?
No, BP.
Jet, all about sidetrack here. Jet has the best sign ever at the end of my street. It just says jet fuel and points left. That's fucking unbelievable.
No,
like the amount of times I've just driven home, and I've driven like 80-mile trek back from wherever, and like come to the village and just went, oh, I see my village sign, which then has home of the first World Cup underneath it, which no other place in the world has that, because that's unreal. And then just after that, I see a sign that says jet fuel on the left, and I always just want one day, just pull in, and it actually is pumping jet fuel, and like I just put it in my mum's Nissan Duke, 1.4 automatic, absolute fucking tripe of a car. Just it's got nothing. To say it has a hamster at the wheel would be that'd be insulting to the hamster. It'd be.
I was going to say it'd be insulting to your mother.
Absolute insult to
she's driving anyway.
Insult to a hamster to say a hamster was powering that car. But to put jet fuel in it would be the best way to ruin it possible. It'd be amazing. I'd have 3 seconds of just get in and then fire, and I'm willing to risk that. 9/11, I'm gonna put my spin on it. 9/11, genuinely caused by the Saudis backing Laden, giving him all his, and he hired the little cronies to do it. So in their way, they were doing it for, like, everyone was doing it for their own reasons. Bin Laden recruited right-wing fucking, like, religious extremists, Wahhabists to do it because they wanted to fucking take down America. And they were like, we want to do that. The Saudis recruited Bin Laden because the Saudis were like, we want to cause a little bit of ruction. For whatever reason, I'm not entirely certain on that one, but I don't know. Perhaps America asked the Saudis to set it up so they could have a legitimate reason. I think America had the ability to track what was going to happen, or at least knew it was going to happen as it, when as soon as the flight went off track, and had the ability to intercept and stop it, but allowed it to happen so they could then launch an attack on wherever they wanted afterwards, that being Iraq and Afghanistan, when they weren't from there, and that's not where the attack came from. But I'm just a fucking idiot talking on the internet, so that's what do I know?
Even there, though, if we sort of compare 9/11 to like a game of Monopoly, you've described the pieces being used, you've described the property in a literal sense as well, and also like the dice, and I guess America with who's moving it, but who made it so that why do you think the world works like that? Like, who made the game? Who's the Mattel of life?
What a fucking who's the Mattel of life? Mate, that sounds like a question that someone would ask me at 4:00 in the morning in the depths of an acid session. And then I'd have about the same reaction I've just had there. That did blow me mind. Just blew me mind for a second there. I don't... It has to be... I think nowadays it's money.
Yeah, but even then someone's got to have something, or someone has got to have allowed for that to be the thing that's there.
I think over... I don't know, it's weird. I think that no one's in control at that stage, and I don't think anyone set it up to be like that intentionally. I think a load of people along the way have changed the game in ways to try and get a short-term benefit for themselves, or what they thought would be a short-term benefit for their country, their faith, their whatever. And as a result of many people doing that, it's just increased their chance of being at odds with each other. And that's just resulted in, like, it's snowballed and got to the situations where we are now.
Yeah, good question, a good answer.
What about you?
I was assuming that it would be something that's been around for a lot longer, or something that Caesars has made toys. So,
yeah,
you know,
I had a feeling you'd say that.
Yeah, but I think that's going to be obvious that I'm going to be like, oh, you know, it's the fucking demons, it's the jinn, it's the fucking extra dimensional entities that are, they, like, in the sense, like, because we say when we're, again, to bring up pig farming.
Yep.
Not that I know a lot about pig farming, and I don't know why it's at the front of my brain so much this evening.
You're planning on killing someone? Because it's the very good way of getting rid of a body, isn't it? I don't know if you've ever...
Well, I learnt today, dear listener, if you're going to dump a body in the sea or in a river or in a deep body of water, pointless in a shallow body of water, it's just going to make a mess. But apparently you want to slash the stomach.
You want to stab holes in it.
Yeah, so the gases don't permeate and gases don't get created and float the body.
I watched that and it was only, I mean, I knew it anyway, because, I mean, that's always the problem. It's not always the problem, but whenever you see the people, if you watch any sort of crime documentaries or anything like that, and they dump bodies in water, they always have the issue of how they've tried to get over that. Some people haven't, and then instantly bodies have popped up. People have tied rocks to them.
4 days.
People have filled them with concrete, like all sorts. People have put them in like holdalls with rocks, shit like that. But it was only on It was only on a video I watched recently, like the last 2 weeks as well, where I watched a case and someone stabbed holes on their insides, like all over, to make sure the body sank. And I think that was,
and they still got caught. So
yeah,
what good was it?
Possibly, if I'm not, I think that was proof used against them in court when they tried to go for an insanity plea, to say no, you weren't insane, because at that time Your logic
Yeah.
was to stab holes in the body to make sure it didn't float. That's
So
not.
you're saying that you should also stab holes in places that wouldn't help, like the shins and
Yeah,
the feet,
or don't make it look like you were stabbing holes.
or cut off every other toe. Film yourself making love to the bladder. Not while the bladder's connected, like nothing like fucking weird, like a disembodied
No.
bladder in your palm.
Yeah, just get the small intestine and like use it, tie it round the base as a cock ring, but then round the balls too, and you can make like some sort of weird fleshy like balloon puppet. Maybe twist the balls a little bit and maybe hang those over the
Send
eyes of
yourself
the
to
victim.
hospital, yeah.
Yeah.
Twisting your own balls. Oh, doctor, I don't know how it happens. Like,
With someone else's intestines still
have you been doing
attached.
surgery? I know that smell.
I was making sausages, mate. Right? Okay, just that's it. Can we just get the intestine off? Yeah, it's
Working a pig farm.
what we were talking about. Yeah, pig farms.
Pig farm.
I'm sure you you were on that track, mate. Before we went off to
Yeah, I
stabbing
wasn't going
in
back
bodies.
there intentionally either, which is worrying.
You learned a
Going
lot about
somewhere
pig
else,
farms.
but I haven't learned a thing about pig farms. I don't know what's going on.
It's going to be a heavy pig farm episode now.
It might be that might be the fucking name of the show. Fuck knows. I don't know why I was talking about pig farms, bro.
I'm willing to sit here and make it awkward.
Not
until
that
you
time.
do
The time beforehand. Not for the breeding people. We were past that. We were long past that. 10 minutes past
We'd
that.
done 9/11.
Yeah.
I'd like to rephrase that. We had.
That's a sound bite. You love sound bites, bro.
We just wrapped up 9/11, and we were talking. Mate, got ya. The Mattel of life.
Yes. Okay. So, like, you've got, as I say, you're a pig farmer, right?
I'm
And
not a
you've
pig
got-
farmer.
you've
I'm just
got
going to
a-
eat an edible while you talk.
Okay. Well, that's gonna. The fucking right. So you're a pig farmer, right? And you know that to get the best out of them pigs, which is what you want, is the meat. But the pigs, and possibly if you're not a very good pig farmer, or maybe you're new to the business, maybe a bit of milk and cheese. If you just dabble in, you're just dipping your toe in the pig farming.
Mate,
business.
nowadays, 2021, there's loads of artisan fucking cheese makers and that. They're
Yeah,
making
exactly.
pig cheese somewhere. They're charging a fortune.
Well, they might have just had a friend with a speech impediment as well, like a conspiracy theorist friend, and they thought they'd said, pig farmer, and they're like, oh yeah, they're and they're the ones that he nearly choked. He nearly choked. Right.
That would have been the first reported death of cannabis ever, I think.
It'd be the first reported. Well, it wouldn't be the first reported death of pig farming or pig farmer. And fucking. So
Can't do it
you've
twice.
got you're a pig farmer, right? And you know that to get the best possible fucking cream out of these pigs, you need to feed them top quality grass and,
Right.
and top quality, fucking bits of old apple and silage and that. But the pigs don't know that you're after their cream. They don't know that you're planning on making, fucking yogurt and fucking chops and all this other stuff from them. They don't have a clue. But they know that they're getting fed. They know that they're relatively safe, apart from when like Mummy Pig doesn't return from the market and Uncle Pig's left alone with them to do whatever Uncle Piggy wants to do to little Piggy. And then
Fucking
so they're
hell,
not
Uncle
they're not
Piggy,
fully
Jesus.
safe, but they're almost safe. They've got water, and they've got a life. And that could be us, mate. That's all I'm saying is maybe we're being farmed and we don't know that we're being farmed. And our best knowledge of it is that we're being farmed for how I've said in that when I ranted about fucking Lion King, that the hyenas were representing the fucking demonic entities that are there to sort of harvest our negative emotions, as David Icke would put it. But even then, you could even say that possibly David Icke was just a way of trying to bring conspiracy theory into the mainstream by the big they, by the whatever that is farming us, as a new means of fucking making us fearful, or as a way of sort of making everyone aware of conspiracy theories, but not of the actual conspiracy theory, which none of us might even know yet. The real truth might not come about for another 60, 70 years.
There is a conspiracy that there's a theory that the actual term conspiracy theory was brought about by the CIA or the FBI, one of the two. I think it was the CIA.
Yeah, because he didn't want people to know what they were doing. They were like, oh no, that's just it's a conspiracy.
As a way of
a
method of
theory at most.
Yeah, and they started perpetrating, so like they started like promoting certain theories as a method of disinformation.
I imagine they were doing that while they were still the OSS.
Well, it was
Like
in.
It seems like old schooly fucking Cold Warish kind of tactics. That
It was following the assassination of JFK, and all of the theories and all of the hype that came after that. So this is when the term was introduced and like put forward, and then put into common pop culture.
See, so people talk about JFK, don't they? Still, like that's. I think that's mad. That's a conspiracy that's stuck around.
Yeah, because
is it really that relevant? Because could JFK just be knocking about still? Could he be like Tupac?
Well, no. JFK was seen to be as someone who was going to be like initiate change and change the American society and change their relation with the world for the better, and like be a much more peaceful
disclosure as well, apparently.
Yeah, shit like that. Well, this is it. This is one of the things that's come since then. Since then, like he was going to do so much more. So the things he was actually going to do, or had the potential to do, since he's died, he was going to do 100 times what they were. Because he's dead, so you've got like the ability of creating that. This is
the legend.
Yeah, and this is why, like the reason behind. It couldn't have just been based on what he was actually going to do. It has to be like 10 times more fantastical. I'm just chewing this. It's
That's
making us drool, mate.
It's quite loud down the mic, so everyone knows what you're doing.
That's fine. It's cherry cola flavour.
Oh, lovely. Is it like a boiled sweet or?
Yeah, they're like candy.
Oh,
beautiful.
Yeah. So it's like a nice slow release as well. Relatively, maybe, yeah.
They're quite sour as well. I mean, you can see that in the face.
So that'll get you salivating more as well.
That's exactly what... Well, that's why I'm struggling now. I'm practically drooling. I've been looking around the room for like 2-3 minutes for a bottle opener. I'm struggling for that as well.
Oh.
I know. But...
Would you think cannabis could be the new conspiracy kind of thing? Like, how it's... People seem very dubious of it now that it's getting more and more legalised. People seem to be a little bit more afraid of it now than what they were whilst it were completely illegal all around most of the world. Whereas now that it's slowly being introduced to more and more of America, let's say, like I think it's just been either decriminalised or legalised in the state, New York State as well.
Yep.
So that's both sides of America now, and now they can sort of like fucking like pincer maneuver. I imagine very slowly, because it's going to be a bunch of bagheads walking around going, oh, this is a lovely park. Let's stop off here for a bit. Do you know what I mean? But the fucking, as they sort of close in on Utah to finally fucking give the Mormons something to smile about potentially.
Jesus, imagine stoned Mormons, mate.
Well,
imagine getting them stoned and going, here, read all of your literature back. Does it make any sense? No, because
then it'll be amazing.
Nah. Like, there's that time in your stoner life where you're like, oh, I'm smoking weed for the 6th time in my life, and everything's great. Oh, believe everything, and isn't everything fantastic? And there's like the 150th where you're watching something and like, this is where conspiracy comes about, because you're watching something and going, bullshit, absolute bullshit. There's no way he did that. Nah, no way at all.
Well, where on this timeline of yours then is it where the fucking every film and TV show's all telling one long narrative, no matter what you're watching, whether you're watching a football match at a pub and then you've gone home and you're listening to the radio in the taxi and then you go home and watch something on telly and you're like, oh, fucking hell.
That's the tangent where you had pre-existing medical issues before long-term use of cannabis.
Oh. Right.
Totally different timeline. It's a rare one that not everyone can unlock. Quite a special one. And, I mean, some of the endings aren't as great, but
fucking missed the game and watch on the first Super Smash Brothers. It's nice to know. Because that's kind of like a useless character on there. He's shit. It's just like a fucking stick figure. It's kind of a fucking... It's not a great skill to have, bro. I'll be honest with you. I would call it more of a hindrance, really.
Is that the crack, is it? You think that
Yeah.
is it just like any time you get like stoned at all?
Sober as well, to be fair.
Sober as well? You think the
Well,
entire world's one timeline around you?
Kind of.
I don't think
Since
that.
it's the 25th episode special, like, as well, you normally let a little something out about yourself, or let a little something out about myself. It's not an act, boys and girls. I'm probably poorly.
The world's one, like, what, everything feeds into one thing, like Truman Show shit.
Not to the extent where I think there's fucking cameras on me or out, I'm not mad. Just, like the telly might be talking to you every now and then.
Well, I mean, in
Well,
some
not
way...
talking to you, but like like in They Live, where every now and then the television broadcast's fucking cut out and it's that old man going, "You need to know this. You need to listen about this." Like there's that sort of subplot going on through most fucking modern media kind
Yeah,
of
but
thing.
there is that. But that's not...
Oh.
It's not... There is, but it's not some sort of... It's not a nefarious plot in the sense that it's the Illuminati elite trying to tell you some sort of illicit information. It's marketing, and it's trying to keep you... It's trying to get your attention. Like, social media... Like, this is something that's studied so much now because of social media, because of the development of, like, technology in the internet age, and, like, everything is focused on it, and I mean everything. Like, everything's focused on keeping you captivated and knowing that your attention span now, like 10, 20, 50, 100 years ago, you had the attention span to, like, read an entire broadsheet newspaper, like, cover to cover, on your morning, on your way to work or whatever, or read it through the work day. I'd do that every day. And you'd read books. Like,
Why nothing ever got done?
and no, stuff would get done, but like you'd actually like just you'd that would be your form of media, and because that was the norm, like you would take that in, and that would be the amount of time you would dedicate to taking in information, and that was how long you expected information to be. And then gradually things have got shorter, music's got shorter, like things have gone to compositions, to tracks, to like tunes are like 3 minutes, 2 minutes now, like loads of hip hop tunes and big tunes that like that are massive on YouTube, massive on Spotify, stuff like that, are 2-3 minutes long, because they know that they can't carry the popular culture's attention for, like, the popular audience's attention for any longer than that. They're gonna go to the next thing. So, in a way, and I don't know if this is your way, I can't say that, I'm not in your head, but like in a way, you're completely right. Like social media, like social media like designers, engineers, shit like that will study how to keep attention, from scrolling behaviors to color schemes, like to the way the app's laid out, to the buttons you've got to press. Everything is studied to the nth degree to maximize you, but them being like, you have to be on this right now, you have to be watching this, you have to be taking this in, this is important. Same with YouTube, same with everything that's popular on YouTube. Like all the music, all the tunes are made with that being a focus. Like, I just want everything to grab your attention. I'm not trying to tell a story. All these tunes that have got hundreds of millions of views on YouTube, hardly any of them, if you listen to the production of the songs, like, there's no story, there's no path going through it. It's a few elements that are really hard hitting, really big in your face, and really noticeable and catchy, repeated for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
With a few catchy lyrics, because it's not about telling the story. It's like, I need your attention. This is views. This is money to us. So you're right. It is trying to do that, because everything's competing for you, because there's choice. You can take your information elsewhere. You can take your eyesight, and you can take your clicks elsewhere. And your eyesight and your clicks are now money to them. So they need to keep you on them. So they need to make you think that what you're doing right now and what you're seeing, what you're hearing right now is the most important thing that you could be seeing and hearing right now. That's not crazy.
Fair. Well, that makes me feel a bit nicer about myself.
To take there's a degree, like if it's like,
what, as in like you can study it?
No. What I said, I mean, there is a degree of like where it does get a little bit nonsensical. So if you were like, the telly is literally saying,
Oh no.
No, you need
It's
to
not
listen
like
to this.
hello Jack.
Yeah. But what you're thinking, or my interpretation, that isn't far fetched at all, because everything's about marketing now. Even the media, and I studied this a lot in my degree. Like, the media now is so much more about marketing than it is about news telling, because they have to market so much to get some income, because print journalism's dead and you can't sell physical print copies of news, which made quite a bit of money because you could advertise in that and you could make quite a bit off that. Now advertising's all done on websites, which is so much cheaper. You don't make hardly anything off it as a publication. So most publications have to focus on marketing so much that to get clicks, and it's become part and parcel of a business model of everything, and it's taken over to a lot of, to an extent, it's taken over the actual product that people put out.
So could you argue then that the sort of the conspiracy behind the rich people who are running the media and that are there to lie to us, could they actually be doing us a public service because they've already got the money? So they're just like, people need to still know stuff. So let's just fucking tell them stuff. It doesn't matter that we're losing money on this because we're making money on the fucking adrenochrome farms in the in the blocks of pig farms in China.
I don't know, because I'd still say it was bad, because just because you're like, oh, the people have to know stuff, it doesn't mean the people have to know like stuff that's good for them. They go, all right, the people need to think that they're knowing stuff, is probably a better way of putting it. If that's if it's in your following your sort of perspective on that, if you're saying that's what they're doing, like, we've got all the money, so we're going to put something out for them. Even then, you wouldn't think that they're going to go, right, we'll put the truth out. Let's fucking tell them.
Oh, because there'd be loads of stuff about like fucking reptilians and tall whites and that, wouldn't it, constantly? And...
Well, not even just that, but it wouldn't be good, and it wouldn't be stuff that would work in their favour. So why not put out information? You have the ability to put out whatever you want, so why not put out stuff that works in your favour?
True, I understand that. As a question, getting away from everything we're discussing in a way, but why doesn't someone actually make and push the idea of literally, now, like, they say fake news and that like it's a bad thing, but why not just have a news channel where it's just made up stories and nonsense and that?
You've got The Onion and that, haven't you? Like mail websites that exist just for that.
Yeah, but not so it does it, so not so it has to be funny and stuff. Just be like, or fucking Deborah Massey from, fucking Exeter is now in the Guinness Book of World Records because he got a bit of advertising there, a bit of advertising money from Guinness.
You always need that.
Yeah. So they got the little bit of sponsorship still, but they're like, she's now grown the longest nails ever seen on a Herman's tortoise, and they go and film this. Yeah, they got little claws, and then they go and they film this little tortoise, and they've put fake claws on it and that, and they're like, yeah, look, there's your tortoise. Get 5 minutes out of that, and. Why not have that, mate, instead of, so at 9 o'clock when 10 o'clock when the news comes on and that, for people that still watch fucking terrestrial telly and that, they can just be like, don't really want to know about all the fucking kiddies being killed. Let's flip over what's happening over there. Oh, look at that. That man's been dancing for 5.5 days straight and never slept.
Have you, have you ever read about the, laughing... Was it the laughing plague of 18... Shit, where's my phone?
In that Monty Python sketch?
Nah, it's a fucking real thing. Oh, by the way, when I showed you that 9/11 notepad at the beginning of the show, it was by Spelling Mistakes Cost Lives. You find them on Instagram. They've got a website. He's got some he does really cool shit, actually. He's got some good stuff. Spelling Mistakes Cost Lives. But yeah, laughing. I've looked this up a lot lately. I've mentioned this in a couple of times, actually. No, not 1962. Not 1962, but that was another one. The laughing epidemic of Tanganyika in 1962 in East Africa. Well, Tanganyika's in East Africa, but that's not the one I was thinking of. The dancing plague of 1518. You ever heard of that shit?
No.
Never heard of that
I
shit.
mean, you can't be surprised that I've never heard of the dancing plague of 1518.
No,
It's,
I'm
it's
quite surprised because it's something that
really.
would usually feature in one of your shows. Like, it's pretty fucking weird in a good way. Well, not in a good way for them. This was a horrible event in the funny. That this is why I like it, because much like a laughing plague, like, it is hilarious. Imagine being in pain from something
Catching the jitterbug.
that's robot, just doing the robot, and then someone walking in and being like, "Are you all right, mate? Having a good time? Been doing this for 86 hours. I just want to see me mum."
What would be the most depressing dance though to see someone crying with?
I
I think it's got to be, if it's a solo dance, the Macarena. If it's with another person and you suddenly like get this weird illness and a magnetism to pair up, the tango. Because that's quite a sultry, it should be quite a sexy dance. But if both people doing it are being forced and they're crying, it gives it a whole new sort of vibe.
the time warp.
Oh,
Just the time warp.
Everyone all around the world doing that.
just the time warp, or a one-man conga.
Just fucking everyone's just booting each other, kicking each other like the fucking like some horrible sort of motorbike race.
And then
trying
there's
to boot
one bloke left, and he still does it today. They've just built a pen around him. But the Dancing Plague of 1518, an event in which hundreds of citizens of Strasbourg, then a free city within the Holy Roman Empire, now in France, danced uncontrollably and apparently unwillingly for days on end. The mania lasted for about 2 months before ending as mysteriously as it began. Started with one mush, one party starter, one sesh legend just come in with the fucking cowies and the sniff. It was like, boys, bang, we're going to party like it's 1519. Let's fucking go. And they put the bag down and people went heavy on that bag, and they went heavy straight away. All this is people this bloke had found ecstasy, and it was 1518. Other people hadn't found ecstasy, and this bloke just brought a lot of ecstasy. I mean, it comes from like tree bark and shit, so he brought the tree bark, I can imagine, or some sort of tincture from it, because he wouldn't have brought Mandy. He wouldn't have brought it in like crystal form. That came later. I can imagine he brought some sort of
exist.
Yeah, I imagine he brought some sort of tincture. And he just went, everyone have a fucking drop of this. And he was liberal with his drops. And people went in hard. They didn't want to face the come down, so they carried on and carried on. 2 months
maybe
later...
they thought it was healthy, because they used to drink beer. Beer used to prolong your life.
Well, it's because water was so deadly.
Yeah,
that's
so
one thing we don't talk about. It's
it.
one thing we don't talk about anymore, how deadly water is.
Well, yeah.
Everyone who's ever drank water
fucking
has
jellyfish
died.
and stuff and that as well, so
Yeah,
everything in there normally wants to kill you.
I don't trust it at all. Don't tell you what, fluoride in water.
They force it all on us.
Fluoride
mate,
in
I had
water.
a mad rant the other day on fucking a TikTok live about fucking some guy asked me what you think about brushing your teeth, and I just ranted at him for like 10 minutes.
Why? Saying that you don't brush your teeth.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't come across on the live stream, so you have to tell people, because I cover my teeth up with my gums as I talk. I'm more comfortable talking to you, so I don't mind showing them off. The fucking but it's like the idea that, like, not even the fluoride and that, bro, but the idea that you're fucking constantly abrasing your gums with something hard and basically cutting up your gums, so that then when you go outside and breathe, all the oxygen in the air gets into your fucking bloodstream even faster through your gums. Then you've got the other idea of you fucking looking in a mirror while you're brushing your teeth, which is weird because
I don't do that.
Do you know?
I don't look in a mirror. I don't know. I don't have to. I know where my teeth are.
That's what point I was going to make. I mean, I like to now, because when I lived at my mum and dad's house, they always put the mirrors in the house at like their height, and I was always a lot taller than them pair, so I never really could see myself in the mirror as much. But it's nice to do now sometimes. But I think that's odd. I don't like the idea that you got to do it like fucking. You're told it's twice a day, and the fact that it includes water, and then you're abrasing your gums, and then pushing that water into your gums like you're fucking checking a Coke bag to see if it's fucking got any, if it is Daz or if it's fucking Coke. Do you know what I mean? It's fucking, it's weird, mate. I think it's really weird.
See, I really enjoy the act of toothbrushing.
I hate it, mate. I'm convinced it stops me from dreaming as vividly.
How does toothbrushing stop you? Please explain that.
Well, I've found that sometimes at night time, if I brush my teeth, maybe if I brush my teeth a bit hard or if I focus on it or something, I won't dream as much that night. But most of the time, most nights, if I've not brushed my teeth and that, I'll have vivid dreams. I have vivid dreams anyway. Most people would probably deem them as nightmares because usually within them I am fucking usually terrified. And then when I wake
I
up,
get
I'm
that.
like, that wasn't a thing to be scared of. That wasn't really a nightmare, but through the dream, scared shitless. And I'll
Yeah, I
wake up
get
in a
that as
panic
well.
or in a sweat. Yeah, but if I brush my teeth, don't really happen that much. But then I miss it. And I'm like, oh, I don't know though. I don't like these fucking, the toothpaste companies are trying to steal me dreams, and that comes kind of from a game I played ages ago called Dreamfall Chapters, where they were putting pipes in everyone's houses to suck out the dreams, and then they could sell them to this other fucking dimension.
Now that's really good. Like, if that was the conspiracy, that I wouldn't mind it at all. That fucking, if the conspiracy was that Big Pharma were trying to steal your dreams, that'd be sound. But what they say is it's for like population control and to kill us off and shit. Now, there are so many theories over the years that are like, government's trying to control the population, the government's trying to kill us, blah, blah, blah. Like, the population of the world has never decreased.
No, it's doubled every, what is it, 20 years, 25 years.
Honestly, population control, if the elite are trying to practice some sort of population control, they're doing so badly.
But what if that is
badly.
the conspiracy though, mate? What if the conspiracies, they make us believe the population's like that, but they're already controlling it? Think about how big the planet could be, right? I've been listening to some people at the minute, we really gotten into them. They're fucking, some of them are mental, but some of them believe that the world isn't a world and the world isn't flat or round, that it's this unfathomable shape and thing, plane of existence that you could never
Keep talking about this.
understand.
I've got to get a bottle open. I'll be 20 seconds, and then
All right.
I'll get you to recap everything you said.
Oh, lovely. This has put me on the spot. He has actually fucking walked out of the room. The fucking anyway. The idea is that some of these people don't believe that the world is like a world or flat or anything like that. That it is just this unfathomable shape kind of thing. So, what if, like, by fucking, I've already lost myself, guys. This is why I need a co-host. I've already lost myself. He's already laughing. I've already lost myself, bro. By you speaking, I fucking lost it.
Told you I'd be 20 seconds, man.
I know, mate. I know. And that threw me off. I don't know why I was talking about the shape of the world. It had nothing to do with what I was about to say anyway.
You were talking about. You've been listening to fucking podcasts lately, or a few people lately. Some of them are a bit mental.
Yeah.
And it was related to
toothbrushing,
dreams,
population control. Right. So what if the big conspiracy? Yeah. What if the big conspiracy there is that, like, they want us to believe that because maybe the world could be. What if what if space doesn't exist? What if deep sea doesn't exist? What if none of that is real, but it's just constant land and puddles and it just goes on forever? And there's no other planets or anything like that. It's just different areas of the world that are sort of cornered and closed off to the regular people. So there could be infinite amount of people. It doesn't matter. But they make us think that it's got to be controlled and that they have tried to control it. But really, they just breathe on us off and breathe on us off and breathe on us off. And then they go, right, what we're going to do here is we're gonna make you think everyone's dead. We're gonna put them into hospitals. We're gonna bury them in the ground. But really, what could be happening is under the ground when they do fucking bury Nana, or and buy them gravestones. Like, think about it. It's a bit weird, isn't it, to have a gravestone and a fucking epitaph? Pointless. Who goes to fucking talk to the fucking dead nan in the cemetery?
Many people.
I did never really like mine.
I've never.
Have you know?
I don't get it. I really don't understand it. Like, in my experience, and it always has been this, once someone's dead, they're dead. Like, any memory of them.
You can remember them and that.
Yeah, this is it. If I want to have any sort of, not conversation, I'm not going to say that, but if I want to reflect on something they've said or wonder how they would have approached a situation, anything like that, I wouldn't go to a grave to do it. I'd go to my head, because that's where any existing knowledge of them is. So I don't get it, but a lot of people have to have that sort of what they deem as like physical. I
wonder if
I want to
that's
say
because...
closeness, but it's not closeness. Some sort of like close proximity to what they believe, where they believe that person to be. Especially people that still harbour like those who have a religious belief, stuff like that, like, because that's where their sort of soul still rests. So I get it. I don't think it's practical, but I also get that my opinion is by no means the majority on that one. It's one of them ones where I think...
I was going to say, I wonder if that's because we're creatives, as you would call us, I guess.
I think
so we
some
wouldn't
of it...
need that physical thing to be able to...
I don't know if it's creative. I think some of it's to do with the way we possibly both interpret or understand death. Probably you, possibly a lot of it being you because with your job, where you have to completely disconnect. Like, you disconnect what you're doing from, like, sort of the life of an animal, because it's two completely different things.
Torture otherwise.
Exactly, it's fucking horrible. And I've from personal experience, I've disconnected fucking death from what it means to a lot of people for coping, basically. I think it's more to do with that more than our creative mindset. Could be wrong, but
maybe though, right? So maybe religion is the way to convince everybody else that the bodies and the souls are still there. But the point I was going to make is, what if there's something underneath? That's why there's on these cemeteries and sort of what they call consecrated ground, in quotation marks, which doesn't really mean anything. It just means the land's been blessed. But what if it's been blessed because the bodies of the souls, as soon as they go down there, are on like some fucking conveyor belt underground, and then they just go off and they get fucking radiation from like the center of the earth. We believe there's a fucking magnetic core, as they call it, which fucking pumps out heat, and that heats up the bodies like a fucking microwave. That'll go down well in the chat. And it heats up the bodies, brings them back to life, and then it props them up in the fucking 8th continent that we're not allowed to know of. And then they carry on with the life, and people just live forever. But once you die here, they're like, oh right, okay, they've so-called fucking quote-unquote died. I hate saying quote-unquote, but people can't see me doing the bunny ears with my hands.
They can't.
And then you're like, oh, fucking hell, right, fucking inject them with that, with the quote-unquote embalming fluid, when really it's just something that fucking knocks you to sleep for longer. Paint them blue. Paint them blue and fucking dump them in a box under the ground. And then someone came along who was fucking evil and went, you know what we should do? Cremation's cheaper. And they're the actual evil people, and that's the conspiracy everyone should be scared of. The burner boys.
I'd like to agree, but this is the first time tonight that I'm going to pull the science card on your layout of the Earth as not being a spherical, well, a planet. There's a lot of things that wouldn't work if it wasn't. There's some things about the planet that still puzzle me.
Some people think it would still work the same as it does as a sphere if it was actually a donut shape. Not like a jam donut.
I didn't say,
but like a ring donut.
I didn't say the shape of the Earth, but there are some things that wouldn't work if the Earth wasn't this shape. GPS, radars, the way that ships navigate.
What if we don't know how that works and we just tie it in with the shape of the Earth? Like, oh yeah, it's because the Earth's a ball.
I do know how some of that works.
The magicians, but what if it's just really magicians and they're like, right, just tell everyone what you think it is and it makes it happen?
But I do know how some of it works.
Well, go on then. You know.
But like, but one of the things that puzzles me is that when we're going around this fucking sphere that's moving like thousands of miles an hour, and we don't feel a thing, but it's because of obviously how small we are. But not only just the forces working for us and against us, but how small we are on a surface area so large that we don't get affected by those forces. Now, it still doesn't mean to me that doesn't sound fucking weird. And why aren't I getting pushed over, like getting blown away by a wind that's like thousands and thousands of miles an hour strong? But shit, like when they show you slow motion movements of a tennis ball when it's going through the air, like all the hairs on it aren't moving, and you're way, way smaller on the planet than one of those hairs is on that ball. And it's proof to say that like that's how it works. There are arguments that there's too many arguments.
Well, by your argument though, there about being small and that, Do you reckon that's why they make plane seats a bit too small for fat people? So fat people on planes think they're uncomfortable because the seats are so small, but really it's because they've got such a large mass. That means they can feel the effects of the plane, but they put it down to the armrest, digging into the, I was going to say ribs, but
No, it's
digging
because
into them.
they don't want fat people to get on planes. Simple as. Like, they take up more room, they consume more of the shit snacks, and they don't get to overcharge other customers as much. Their deep frame thrombosis means later on they might try and sue the airline. They just don't want fat people on planes. Can you blame them? Yeah, exactly. That's why the airlines are just ruthless.
Logic.
Basically, mate, airlines are ruthless. They don't want fat people on planes. They don't even let guns on planes nowadays. Like, come on, they won't even let you carry like a bottle. They won't even let you carry like 4 bottles of whiskey on a flight. Like, what? Who are these people? Who are these? They won't even let you on without showing a picture of your face with your name. These airlines are ruthless. Honestly, they're the real problem. I can't remember who we became anti last week. We became another podcast anti. We became anti another thing 2 weeks ago. I can't remember what it was. We'll come back to it, but we're going to be anti airlines this week. Less of this controlling the skies and trying to protect people. More letting me get on a plane without showing you my name, a picture. Let me carry 3 bottles of vodka and a fucking Glock. Like, make it like the good old days again. Just bring freedom back. That's what I'm saying. But I actually had a point. So, regarding the world, Earth being flat, blah blah blah. I had a little read into a bloke called David Robert Grimes, Irish physicist and biologist. He's also written a book on why we buy into conspiracy and propaganda. I've ordered it. Looks like it'd be a good read. You'd probably like it as well, actually.
I'll let you summarise it to me.
Yeah, I will do. So
I probably will never read it.
he created a formula to, let's have a look. What's it called? I've got it somewhere. The name of the formula, the name of the study is. I was reading a journal from him about it. Oh yeah, man. Fucking sometimes we do stuff. On the viability of conspiratorial beliefs by David Robert Grimes. It's a research article. It's available on journals.plos.org. And it's the tendency of conspiratorial ideation is the tendency of individuals to believe that events and power relations are secretly manipulated by certain clandestine groups and organisations. He basically created a formula of working out like how many people would have to be involved, or how likely a conspiracy could be, and how many people would have to be involved in order to maintain the secrecy behind that conspiracy. He took like examples like the moon landing. I think JFK was one. There was a few examples that he took, and he's applied this to what, like, it's been applied to other instances since. And I think for the moon landing, in order for them to get away with it being a setup, it was like in excess of 400,000 people would have had to have kept it secret. It'd be involved and keep it secret. But
that's possible if all them people live on the 8th continent.
But from his equation, within 4 years, someone would have given that secret away. Like, it's very interesting. The journal's interesting, well worth a read. It's not that long either. But it's worth a read on how he put the formula together. It's pretty fucking, from what I read, like, can't find any fault with it. It's really clever.
But what if that's fucking big science, mate? Big science's own conspiracy there. Being like, we'll use science to try and stop the conspiracy theorists believing in conspiracy theories. We'll use science to fucking try and fucking explain them away.
But then you should be able to disprove it if it wasn't true. That's the good thing about science. If it's not true, you should be able to use the same sort of.
Well, science won't give us a time machine. So we can't prove that some of these things aren't true or are true.
You could take
so
that
it's science that's holding us back.
You could take that formula and disprove it using science if you wish to. If you think you can, then you should be able to disprove it using the same parameters that he has.
But why? That's what I don't understand about science. I think that's why I've really got something against it. That's like the idea that, if I want to argue with this Chinese pig farmer over how he's fucking over the teat pullers that he uses on his pigs, but I don't know Chinese to tell him about a better teat puller. I don't use your hands, mate. But I know it's good for, it was good back in Edward Jenner's day for stopping the old smallpox in that, but. We don't you can industrialize it. You can use this. It's no good, mate, because I can't speak Chinese to the fella, so I can't help him. It's the same with science, mate. If you don't understand science, you can't change science.
Well, that's, I mean, sort of, yeah, but much like you've got a Rosetta Stone to learn, like, Chinese, there are ways you can learn science. It's not that, like, pick up, there are books. Like we were talking about earlier about newspapers. They actually, there's ones that come in, like, there's many pages, but they're quite smaller. They're called books, and those can be, some of them contain science. Some of them contain not science. They basically break down to science, not science. Tom Clancy novels, and some of them have naked ladies in. And there's every 4 years, there's the Panini World Cup football sticker, like, book thing, and that one is really good. But yeah, I mean, you can. I know what you get. I know it's like I don't understand, and it's one thing that annoys us because I feel that I should do it. I don't understand coding at all. My experience of coding was having a MySpace page and changing my background to a big spinny cannabis leaf but it was black background with a white spinny cannabis leaf, and then I did other stuff and added, like, different things to my MySpace, and then I did a very basic amount, as in almost not worth mentioning amount of coding in order to make blogs work and shit when I was at uni doing my degree. Like, I don't understand coding. I feel I should try and learn coding. There are things that I would like to be able to do with coding, but I know that at the end of the day, I don't understand it. Like you'd say, you don't understand science. If I wanted to, I could sit down and read a fucking book. I could watch some YouTube videos, and I could start.
Yeah, but that's a skill, though, isn't it? That's like a skill. Science isn't a skill. Science is like another language.
It's no.
Because for science, you've got to totally See, this is the thing, man. To fully get into science and back science, you've got to fully believe science. Goes into what you said near the top of the show, man, where it's got to be like a religion. You've got to believe it. You've got to believe in gravity. Gravity, or whatever it is that keeps us to the floor, is still there. But it might not be what we're told it is. But we've got to agree that it's what we're told it is, because we can't prove it's not there. But it could be something else. How do we not know it's something pushing down on us rather than something pulling on us?
But this comes back to what I was saying. Like, if you believe it's not, like, there are constantly, especially over the last 10, 20 years, like, revisionist science and revisionist theory and going back and trying to disprove these theories is a massive field now. Like, people do try and do that, actively are trying to do that, because over time, I was watching a video on something related to this today, I'll come into in a sec, like, in time, a lot of things have changed. So there's been changes on not just the planet and the forces upon the planet. There have been changes in, like, lots of measurements. There's been changes in temperature of the Earth. There's been changes in a lot of things. So a lot of the parameters and things that factored into these scientific theories are different now.
Oh, so yeah, the invisible monsters I was telling you about the other week.
Exactly.
That scientist had found.
They're back now. So, but yeah, so those things have changed, and you don't have to necessarily believe in them. You can go in them with the notion that I want to try and disprove this theory. I think that it's the other way around, so I'm going to disprove, say, gravity. But where science stands up is, if the theory of gravity is true, you can try as hard as you want with all the means that you have. You can't disprove it. And if you can't disprove it, then that just proves that to be true. Doesn't mean that you have to believe the science in order to take part in science. You can actively try and say, like, I don't want this to be true, so I'm going to try and prove the opposite. The good thing about science being, doesn't matter if you believe it is or isn't. if it's right, then it doesn't matter of your belief. Whereas, like, you can't really apply that to faith. Like, if the thing about faith would be, like, it doesn't matter if you believe or not, God would be there.
Isn't that just science? You've just said all of that, but you've replaced God with science. No matter if you believe in it or not, science is there, science is right. No matter if you believe in God or not, God is there, God is right.
But you can't.
It's like it's been.
One you can't
It's like
prove.
religion worked for hundreds of years, and then people suddenly started selling books and giving away pamphlets and all this other stuff. Education got better for people, and they went, all this nonsense we've been believing since like 1670s about fucking God and this Jesus fella. You supposedly only like was fucking killed in 1200 and something according to that fucking Russian bloke anyway. But that's not even taught anymore anyway, so that's pointless. And he was a mathematician and a scientist. But for what you've said about science, you believe in science and it doesn't matter if you believe in it or not. Science is right.
No. I said the opposite.
Gravity, then.
No, I said the opposite. No. What I mean, no, I said if you don't believe in science,
Yeah.
then it doesn't matter whether you like. It doesn't matter because if it's real, then it's going to happen anyway. The difference being,
That's what they said about God and heaven and hell.
The difference being, you can measure what you're doing when you're trying to prove or disprove science. You can't do that with religion. You can't measure the proof that would prove the existence of God. You can't demonstrate it in front of you to show without a doubt that that's done because of your God.
But that's only because of the constraints of science, surely. I'm not saying I'm pro-religion, I'm not really pro-religion or pro-science in it, but it's only because of the constraints of science where you would say you can't prove God in a scientific way. But surely that means that science was invented, or science, maybe I'm not going to dispute that there are facts. I'm not saying nothing is right, nothing is real, but I am sometimes nothing is real, but I'm not saying that science isn't. Science as a law unto itself kind of thing, as a rule book. It's the Ten Commandments, except instead of it being the Ten Commandments, it's the laws of relativity, quantum physics, quantum mechanics, biology, evolution. It's a whole different. It's 10 different commandments for each commandment,
but
and then after a few years, each of them gets an extra 10.
The difference being, like, without them, and if those things weren't real, like, 99% of the stuff that we're benefiting from right now, and I mean even right now as we have this conversation, me and you, wouldn't exist. It's because of the very thing that you say is a faith-based, and those developments that you say are constraints. It's because of those theories, those formulas, and those developments that I'm able to talk into this microphone. It's able to go down. It's able to go from voice to data in a cable to be processed by a computer, sent like wirelessly to you, and then you can hear and see it. Oh, not only that, but then go out to the rest of the world as well.
Yeah, but what if it isn't? What if we're just taught that that's how it's happening?
But you can see how it works. If you teach
someone that's how it's happening. Nah, but what if that's the way that you make someone believe that happens? So that could happen anyway, but everyone would have to believe that they had psychic powers in order to make that happen. But because not everyone believes they've got psychic powers, they've got to introduce the idea of, look what's possible. Look, because of this plastic box and this bit of gold and silica sand, and we've all, we've melted it together, and now it makes clicking noises when you touch it, but it can also fucking show you some massive tits getting cummed on by 10 different people within 5 minutes. Look how brilliant it is. But you could use your mind to watch, fucking Big Brenda do it in her own house round the corner, and Big Brenda wouldn't even know, but she would know because everyone's psychic and everyone can watch Big Brenda have an orgy in a living room psychically from their own beds. Do you know what I mean?
But we can't do that.
No, because people don't believe in it. Everyone around the world all believe it's because of metal and plastic and computers and wires and vibrations and data. Not more and more in the conspiracy law. Vibrations coming into stuff for everything.
Vibrations
to do with vibration and blocking out
years, light. Absolutely years. Because it's radio waves as well, which are also a form. Basically, anything that fucking is energy and moves is some sort of threat to conspiracy. While we're on that, quick side note, 'cause we're going to come back to what we're talking about. The tinfoil hat the chosen headwear of the conspiracy theorist.
Nah,
Hey, you got one over there?
I've got yeah.
First of all, came from Aldous Huxley's brother, Julian Huxley. He wrote about tinfoil hats in a book called or a story called The Tissue Culture King. Oh yeah, you have. It's an unfolded one. It's a flat pack one. That was when it was first mentioned, but more recently, well, I say more recently, it was 15 years ago, but MIT studied tinfoil hats to see just how effective they were at expelling and blocking radio waves. Actually found that they accelerated and magnified certain radio waves, specifically the frequencies used for radios and wireless contact and everything that conspiracy theorists are trying to block out. But in doing so, you can read the study.
Well, couldn't that could be a conspiracy in itself, mate?
Wait, you can read this because I'm gonna get to that. The study, which is carried out by Rahimi et al., which is and others. Yeah, I know French.
I thought it'd be Latin, no.
That's the one. He at one point during the conclusion, he actually put, he was like, perhaps the government started this theory. And that was like, as part of his conclusion, like a little bit of a joke was like, perhaps the government started the tinfoil theory, so you'd all start wearing these hats.
It makes sense though, because if right, I remember on a TV show, right, it was a so-called documentary, one of the documentaries my kind of documentary, mentalists talking to themselves to a camera, and it was a woman who'd had dental surgery in her tooth, and when she drove down a certain road, she could hear voices in her head.
Right.
And they found out it was the tooth was actually picking up some form of radio frequency, and somehow she could hear a radio because they tested her, and they did a little test according to the program anyway.
Right.
It was like Ancient Aliens before Ancient Aliens, before it became hack, and full of lies. So, and it worked, and that worked. But so what if there is a constant sort of noise in the background, right?
Yep.
That none of us can hear, but everyone can take on board. But then the conspiracy theorists, it doesn't work on them for whatever reason genetically, and maybe that's why people do blood tests and things like that, so they can find out is the working, or does it need to be more of a you know what I mean? Like, so they can adjust the dials in certain areas.
Right.
So what if that's the reason why conspiracy theorists then would think, I'll wear a tinfoil hat because that'll protect me against all the fucking radio waves and stuff. But maybe that's why tinfoil actually helps, because they were like, right, we'll teach them that they can do this to block them out, but that'll actually amplify it, and it will fry the brains just like it's frying everyone else's, and then they'll start to just fall into line like everyone else.
That's like what he was referring to in the conclusion. It was basically like, well, what if the government actually introduced these so you'd be more susceptible to whatever they're pumping out? Yeah. But he did it. He referenced that as a joke. So scientists basically, mate, beat you to that. He beat you to that, and you had the same idea as a scientist. How sick does that make you feel?
Well, no. How pointless does that make science, bro? I didn't need science to think of that. Plus, when I wore that tinfoil, I did it to try and promote the show the other week. I did a fucking a live stream on TikTok to try and fucking promote the show. Really fucking hard to think with one of them on, because your head gets really, really warm.
Oh yeah, I bet it's quite uncomfortable as well.
Yeah.
I can imagine that's quite uncomfortable.
But sweat's full of salty water, which is a conductive thing as well.
Practically tasered yourself in the chair from all the thinking you did.
Yeah. Well, from the fucking noise.
Yeah, coming back to that, the telepathy thing, I'm going to totally disregard it. I'm going to totally back.
Nope.
I'm just gonna fucking, some things you've got to go nah. No,
because you could argue though as well. What if that's how guns work because of telekinesis? But we've got to say, there's a gun there. But really, there is no, like in Matrix, there is no spoon, there is no gun, there is no computer. You just fucking point your hand and you can fucking like blast air really quickly. But we need to believe there's a projectile behind in front of the air. But really, what if it's the air that does the damage and not the projectile?
But I've done enough psychotropic, hallucinogenic drugs in my time that if I was ever going to be able to think telepathically and have some sort of collective consciousness. I've been.
Who's going to say cleft palate?
Why? Now that is something that drugs cannot recreate. Even really good ecstasy can sort of get you there. Your mouth will pull some interesting shapes, but you'll not quite have the cleft palate. Thank fuck. It'd be really weird if you come down and was like, I've just woken up with like my lip attached to my face in a very different way to it ever has been, and now I've got a speech impediment. I'm not taking those pills again. What stamp did they have on them? Put them on pill report. There's a fucking problem with them. No. What was I gonna? Oh, I did have a point. I was going down somewhere then. Yeah. I've been to festivals where lots of people have been on fucking acid at once. If there was a moment when anyone could telepathically communicate with each other, it would be then. It doesn't happen. So I think that the difference between like your interpretation of faith in science and faith in religion is the different, like, the results of science can be measured, and I know you say with science, but not just that, with your eyes, like with senses, more importantly.
But religious people will say it can be measured with their eyes as well. This is what I mean. There's no from an outside. If you imagine yourself as an outsider that doesn't say, try and imagine.
But we are outside. We were outside,
which might not surprise you.
But we were outsiders. If you think,
because we know of science and we know of religion. But if you know of neither, and you was watching let's say there's two groups of people, right, and you brought them up and locked away in a building, each of them next door to each other, exactly the same lives and not everything, food the same, but one of them's told, oh, this is all because of God, and the other one's told everything because of science, and you watch how they interpret the world, you will probably wouldn't see a difference. They both believe it still goes on, and that doesn't mean that science is right, doesn't mean that religion's right.
I would bring them dinosaur bones.
From the moon. I found out there on the moon.
Yeah. I would show them dinosaur bones and say, please explain this. I would show them quite obvious.
So the scientists would say that's from giant fauna, giant lizards, whereas the religious people would say they're from giant people.
No, they wouldn't. They would say they never existed and they were a con and they were planted there as a test of faith.
Not necessarily. If they were pure religion and they never heard of science, they wouldn't have the aspect of a con, the idea of a con like that. They would have no concept of science at all. They would probably believe it was the Nephilim, which were like a race of giants. No, that were in the Bible.
You have to have, but no, because you have to. You're then saying that people are. You can't just have religious people that don't have an exposure to some religion. So,
what do you mean?
So you like you're saying a neutral comes down, right? You're saying a neutral person comes down. In order to, and if they're shown this stuff, you'd have to have an explanation. You'd have to have someone on either side trying to say, basically prove them which. They're not just going to, because if you look at something and they don't have any experience of anything, they're not going to have anything, any sort of explanation for what it is, because they've never ever experienced anything. So they're just going to see something and not have any sort of reasoning of why it's there. If you're going to have an explanation from both sides, you're going to have a scientific explanation, which can be measured and shown. You're going to have a religious explanation, which can't be backed up with anything but the words that's come from the person's mouth.
Yeah, but same with the science, because the science would use the science to say it's a dinosaur and know of dinosaurs. Their dinosaur bones, they look a lot like a Tyrannosaurus neck. That's what that is. Whereas the other person, the religious people, would go, oh yeah, that's a massive neck bone, clearly, because I know that from chopping up the lambs that I chop up and the pigs that I've been getting imported from fucking southern China.
But dinosaurs don't exist in religions.
No, they don't. But the Nephilim did, which were giant people.
Not in like any notable religion of now.
Yeah, Christianity, mate. Christianity believed in them. They were like the original proto-fucking humanoid.
In Old Testament Christianity?
Yeah.
I don't remember any mention of this.
You don't get it in school, but if you're in a Bible, man, yeah.
Where in the Bible are Nephilim mentioned?
I'm sure it was in the later in Genesis.
That does it. If you show someone a dinosaur,
Genesis is more than just the 7 days in the Garden of Eden.
Oh, I know. I've had to do, but I mean, I did philosophy, but we just didn't do Nephilims, which obviously wouldn't surprise you when you're doing philosophy and ethics that you don't study massive people.
Or giants exist. Imagine that on the first day, you just sit down and you're like, yep, so giants were a thing.
Well, we're going to do, I thought we were doing life and death. What the fuck is this? But still isn't a valid argument, because if I'm showing someone dinosaur bones and they say that's a Nephilim, it's not, because it's dinosaur bones.
It might not be a dinosaur bone.
What if you can put it all together and show it's a fucking dinosaur?
What if you can put it all together and make it look like a person?
Well,
If you believe it's going to look like a person.
This is the difference. This is the difference. You can have a belief it's going to look like a person. You can have a belief it's going to look like a dinosaur. It'll only actually fit together as one of those two things. And this is
together into all sorts, because there'd be no cartilage or anything left over.
No, but
so
bones
it'd be difficult to put them into the right shape.
Bones would still but bone layouts would still look right or wrong.
No, because if you think of like a fucking, like your forearm's got your two bones in your forearm, innit? If you've never seen a skeleton before, you might not think to yourself, oh, there's two bones there. So that makes up the arm.
Much like I've never seen right.
How do we not know that they've taken the two arm bones of a giant and gone, right, if we take them and not give them one down the leg there, that makes an extra leg.
I've never seen a full jigsaw together before I've made it, but you can still only put it together one way.
Surely though, you've seen the picture on the box.
And sometimes you haven't. I've done loads where you haven't, where you just start with nothing. I've even done those bastard ones where it's pretty much all one colour, and you've just got to fucking do it, and it's like just a star or something. And this again, this is my argument, and this analogy keeps coming back, because the dinosaur bone was one, the skeleton's one, this is another one, and then you've got a jigsaw puzzle, and your religious mush says it's going to go together this way, and they've got an image of the picture. The scientist has gone, no, it's going to go together this way, and they've got the image of the picture. The jigsaw can only be built one way. That's the difference, and it can be proven when it's once it's one piece. I can go
with that, though. I understand what you're saying. It can only go one way.
So the skeleton is the same. So the difference being, you can have your argument saying, oh, this is a scientist going, this is a dinosaur. Your religious mush going, this is a Nephilim. Those bones are only going to go together in one way. There are traits of bones that fit together that we know now from biology, from years and years of studying skeletons, that we know how certain things fit together. That set of bones is only going to fit together in one way, and that is provable, and it's visible proof, which is measurable proof, something that science has that religion doesn't have. But it has theoretical proof.
But you could still, I still think the religious people would still put that together and go, that is a Nephilim then. That's what the Nephilim looked like. These were the weird humanoid things. They say it's a T-Rex or a Velociraptor or something on two legs. I don't know, a two-legged dinosaur, just for argument's sake, so that it's at least similar. They could be like, oh, that was the prototype fucking giant creature, but that's not quite, that didn't work. And we can see why that didn't work, 'cause it doesn't look like a person. So they would still have a reason for it.
No, I don't think... in fact, I know they wouldn't. Like, fundamentalist religious believers of all mainstream religions would completely reject that and wouldn't try to find an answer for it. They'd more sooner find a reason of blaming it as
just kill the neutral who brought it in.
Yeah, they kill the neutral. Well, we'll laugh about that, but let's not say that hasn't happened. No. That throughout history, like people who have questioned the faith, even big thinkers, big thinkers, and I can't even remember the fucking names. There's a number of people who have been within the church. Was Kant? I don't know if Kant was one of them. There's a couple of like religious philosophers who were philosophers within the church who were then like ostracized or exiled or imprisoned or killed because they had questions about their own faith, and they weren't even trying to disprove their own faith. They weren't even doing what I'm doing now, which is actively saying, no, I reject that interpretation of religion, or religion's interpretation of the world in that sense, because there's another answer or another argument that I can actually see the results of, and it, to my logic, backs it up. Like, with these were ostracized and exiled for like just finding another way to understand their belief that they still had. Like, they were like, we're fucking Christian still, but we've got questions about the way we currently believe what we believe, and we think it could be this. And just because that was different to the norm and like seen as a challenge, as a threat to the status quo, which is what was needed to maintain like control, essentially, because that's what religion is. They were killed for that.
But in a way, isn't that what science is, to maintain the status quo? Because if you was like, you could use science, like mainstream science is like photosynthesis, condensation, evaporation, osmosis. Mainstream science isn't like teaching someone how to make homemade explosives, but that would be like a science still.
It is to a degree. It's engineering to a degree. There's science involved, depending on what you make, and obviously there'll be chemistry involved, shit like that. But that's still, so I mean, in some way, terrorist attacks do prove the existence of science. Yes, if you want to make that argument, extremism does prove science. That's quite ironic, being that it's mostly done in the name of religion when it actively proves science. I've never thought about that until now, but well done, terrorists.
Sound bites again.
But you made us think something there. Fuck.
Blowing his mind.
Reel back. What did you say before the?
But the like homemade, like the IEDs, that would.
Yeah, you were saying mainstream science.
Yeah.
I had something coming from that.
Well, okay, so like holistic science then. The idea
this
of
is
holistic science,
that's what I was
if you
going to
rub
say.
a crystal, you'll be able to heal your fucking, I don't know, fucking stomachache if you fucking lick this bit of amethyst.
You can say holistic. You can say holistic therapy. There's as far as I'm aware, there's no such thing as a term holistic science. Well, it may be true, but it's not what I'd call it. I'd call it holistic snake oil. But that's fine. If you want to believe that stones can heal you, we'll just go and lay in a quarry for an hour. You should be absolutely fucking tip top. Just go to B&Q gravel section. Just honestly make a ball pit of gravel. Get yourself to the bottom and crush yourself, you absolute fucking invalids. But no. Well, again, this is a difference. Like, if you have some sort of alternative theory with science, unlike religion, which is like, although now, if you're not at the extreme ends of any religion, like if you can sort of challenge it from within your own faith, like it's much more encouraged nowadays. It's more widely encouraged. It's more widely accepted. Obviously, philosophy exists. Philosophy of various religions exist. You can study it. You can like practice it, etc. So, like, you can do that, but you can do that with science too. And again, the thing about it is, if your interpretation or if your new theory is indeed like legit and solid, then you'll prove it. If it's not, you won't.
Don't a lot of scientists then tend to go against that though?
Some will.
But my interpretation of science is if a new person comes along and they go, because like we were talking about chemtrails at the start, right? So they got, they were like, chemtrails. Scientists, quote unquote scientists or conspiracy theorists, were saying they're putting stuff in there to block out the sun. They're doing it to poison us. They're doing it to make rainfall somewhere. All the scientists of the world went, that would never work. What you on about? That's mental. Nah. Now
they didn't.
20 years ago, they've come out and gone, yeah, that's exactly what that was doing. What else would it be doing?
Yeah, but at the time,
science were going against it, saying, "No, it's ridiculous. It's make-believe."
This is where the voices of science that people were exposed to said that, and this is where we have a difference.
Okay.
It's much like we talked earlier when you were talking about your telly talking you and shit. Like, this is marketing, and much like we talked about how the people who are in control tell the news. Like, you heard the voices from the scientific community that the people in charge wanted you to hear. It's much like when you have health studies or sugar studies, and the person carrying out the study into like the effects of sugar, this highly respected doctor or whatever, is being funded and backed by Coca-Cola. Like, this shit happens, and it's because the people who are actually doing this want you to be at ease. So they go, right, so you'll be at ease if you hear from a scientist on this subject, so we're going to give you one. But we're going to give you one that we've paid to say the shit that we're saying. It's like, you want to talk about toothpaste again? Every toothpaste advert has a dentist on it saying that this is scientifically proven to be, this is the one that dentists buy.
Whereas
But
in reality, it should be some form of like method or something with 3 teeth left. Going, I'm so glad I found Oral B because now I can protect the 3 molars I've got in my mouth, and I know I'm never gonna lose them
but
again.
this is it. Like if every dentist says that this is the one that dentists use, and they're all promoting different ones, you can find a scientist who has who backs any version of science.
And have you ever seen a dentist brush his teeth? No.
I believe I have, yeah.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, I've got a friend over there, well, a person over there I went to school with who is now a dentist and regularly brushes their teeth. In fact, I've walked past their window when they've done it.
Oh. So could he be really doing it for a reason, or is he just...
Maybe she's not informed. Maybe she's just kept out the loop because we're in such an ostracised community, being in this prison camp that I'm in, reporting from. But... No, I had... lost it again because we started talking about fucking toothpaste. No, yeah. If you've got an alternate theory with science, you would be able to prove it. You should be able to prove it. It should be measurable, and others should be able to not only prove, but they shouldn't be able to disprove it. Now, this is why I said I don't think there's such a thing as holistic science, because I've never seen any scientific proof that you can charge crystals and crystals can heal you. I've never seen any proof that you can hold your hands a few inches above someone's skin doing Reiki or whatever. One of them's a healing thing and one of them's a mushroom, and I can never remember which one's it. I think it's Reiki and Reiki. And Reiki's Reishi's the mushroom. I'm taking it as a supplement. It's supposed to do really good things. I'm still a fucking idiot, so it's clearly done nothing. But I don't believe that holding your hands above someone's head and skin 2 inches above it and wishing them good vibes can cure them of ailments. Excuse me if I sound like a fucking idiot here, but one of the things that you can't dispute, I don't think, is the scientific developments when it comes to medicine, and the fact that we've hit this bell curve where for years and years no science, all belief in holistic remedies and the ways of the old, and then progressively more science, more medical stuff, and for the majority we'll believe in the medical things. Oh, and look at that, people are living longer. Oh shit, we're not dying of gout or fucking polio anymore because there's stuff like vaccines, and we've got access to vitamins and antibiotics and stuff, and now we've hit this peak where we're now at as medically advanced as we've ever been, at the forefront of like curing shit in record times and finding treatments in record times, and now it's sort of hitting this point where people are going to revert back down because they're finding a massive distrust in the world of medicine.
Well, what if it's got nothing to do with medicine and science though, bro? And we're just told it's that, right? So there's this extra planet in our solar system called Nibiru, and that moves came up earlier.
Not in this show, but when I put out a question thing on Instagram ahead of this show saying what did you think was the world's most dangerous conspiracy theory, and someone put Nibiru, which is quite a clever one, because I meant dangerous as in dangerous impact on society by spreading a conspiracy theory, but they meant dangerous by a massive planet hitting our Earth and wiping us all out. So yeah, they fucking beat us on that one. Fair play.
Right, but it moves so slowly, like 3.5, I think it's 3,650 something years in a cycle around the sun in a fucking weird shaped orbit, which makes me think it's probably just a spaceship, a really big fucking spaceship, if it's anything.
If it's anything, yeah.
Let's say it's a planet, right? Let's take as fact just for a moment that it's a planet. What if that came and blocked out the sun? Literally blocked out the sun,
right,
for 1,000 years, 2,000 years, and that's why throughout history there's always been this thing about the sun god and the return of the sun god, be it Osiris or fucking Hercules, Jesus. The sun god will come back. Also, side note, I learnt today that Osiris was also considered a corn god, which means that Osiris could have actually also been Quetzalcoatl, which I found interesting. But if this planet came, right, and blocked out the sunlight, loads of people would fucking get ill. Everyone would get ill. It'd also
Yeah.
it'd make sense that there'd be an ice age. The world would be colder because there's no sunlight. If we're to believe that scientists and that heat actually comes from the sun, because it kind of makes sense to me that heat would also come from the molten core of the planet to a degree as well. But then when you stick your hand in the dirt, it's never really all that warm. Yet when you have a fucking pile of dirt on the road, you stick your arm in the middle, piping hot, which is, I think, kind of suspicious. But that could be, like I said before, down to the beliefs of believing the floor is cold, the pile of dirt can cook an egg, rather than it actually being the science or anything stupid involved like that. But what if it was just Nibiru blocking out the sun, bro? And that's why people weren't living long. And then that moved and shifted. A couple thousand years have passed. We've forgotten about it. People have started, maybe evolution might be real. If we're going to give the scientists anything, let's give them evolution. And then we've evolved and gone back to normal now because we're no longer fucking acting like the clever ones that went underground and no longer need the sun, who live, in the fucking, you call them the subterranean dwellers, innit? But I would
Not
call
them
them
bastards.
the gnomes.
Don't talk about them again. Don't
Well,
fucking
I'd
don't
call
bring
them
those
the
cunts back.
gnomes.
I just got rid of them. I'll build a wall.
But they've come back, and now our genes have come back to normal where they were, and that could explain also why humans haven't really evolved for thousands of years. We were stunted by the shade of this huge planet blocking out our sun, but now people have gotten enough time on their hands to make up medicine, science, and all that. But realistically, because Nibiru's been gone for long enough, and the aliens aren't knocking about at the moment, people are living longer anyway.
We would have all died and been extinct if anything blocked out the sun for that amount of time.
Ah, but they might have had fucking UV lights underneath it, mate.
I didn't account for that. Then I don't know how we'd be after that. I don't know if you can.
Because that could be the fucking jet engines, we would consider engines as thinking of a spaceship engines, but really the UV lights.
Can you grow people like you grow weed under fucking hydroponics with hydroponics under fucking lights and shit?
If you lock someone in a cupboard, they don't grow very well.
But if I feed them lots of nutrients and put them under some nice 200-watt lights, water them a couple of times a day, they'll grow.
Possibly. But what if that's why they changed bulbs? They changed the bulbs out from what they were. They gave out some form of radiate. Now we've got different types of bulbs. Legally, we're not allowed to have the old bulbs. Maybe it's because we no longer need them because we've got the sun back. The sun has returned. And maybe that's what religion was. And maybe that's what science now is, because we no longer need religion to be thinking, the sun will come back, the sun will come back. Now we just need to explain why we were so focused on getting the sun back. I don't know why I keep making fucking...
Mate, I was going to tell the listeners, you look so empowered right now that it looks to me like you think in your head you've cracked something and you're about to start a march.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel, bro.
Being motivated, he's about to fucking walk out with a flag.
I've won for once.
I've got a medal. I think
someone's listening. They didn't let me finish a sentence.
It's possible. Perhaps Planet X was just providing shade all this time, but also somehow reflecting some sort of UV rays back on us, and now we can live longer than we used to.
The moon does it.
It does, but it only does it half the time, whereas you're saying that we were strictly living from UV light, which I'm not sure if we can all just survive just from reflected light rather than
living normally and eating, but we'd probably be eating less plants.
I don't think it could grow. I don't think
something would grow.
I don't think we would be able to get the
grow down in the depths of the ocean. That's if you believe in the depths of the ocean.
I don't think we have the necessity to survive purely on things that can grow in the dark.
Well, that might be why the Anunnaki and Quetzalcoatl and all that came and introduced agriculture. Their planet came past. They looked at us and thought, "Fucking hell, they're gonna die because of us. We need to recharge by sucking up all the water from the polar ice caps or the magnets from the Earth, and or we need the gold to fuel our ship. But if we let them all die, that seems a bit fucking grim." Whereas then Enki and Enlil had that big fucking argument between themselves, and you do what you want, but if you're not back by fucking tea time, I want you to be back here before the lights come on. And he's like, all right.
Got to be back here in Sweden before the lights come on. We've got the information to protect. We've got the secrets to keep. Right, I'm going to move on to something completely different just because we were talking about stuff that doesn't get mentioned anymore, and I thought about quite a good one.
Go on.
Messages in music. You know, like, it used to be like there was certain messages played backwards in music, and I think that the powers that be invented the MP3 so we couldn't pass on subliminal messages to each other and share secrets. And that's what really killed off. It hasn't killed off the vinyl, because the vinyl record's better than it has been for years now, sales wise. But I think that's why MP3s were pushed and Spotify, and that's pushed. You never see a reverse play feature on Spotify, do you?
No.
Isn't one?
No, you don't.
Fucking
No.
isn't one, mate. They don't put that feature in.
Some might argue it'd be pointless.
Well, those people are sheeple. Let me tell you that right now, because they don't know the facts. And I think, because this is the thing, I think that now, if you play any music back now, it won't even contain any messages if you play it backwards, because twofold. One reason being, like we talked about earlier,
They don't make music like they used to.
Every tune on YouTube's now only 2 minutes long, and it's just an 808 drum with someone's producer tag going, "Jump on, I made this tune," blah 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 blah, and then that's it for 2 minutes. But also, they know that you can't play their songs backwards anymore, so they don't even put any hidden messages in. And I think a long lost way of musicians who are very clearly the most forward thinkers, the real people who you want to be getting all your secret information from, obviously, are people who are in mediocre bands and stuff like that. They're not putting any hidden messages of note in their music anymore, because they just know it won't be received. And I, for one, won't stand for it. So as of tomorrow, I'm going to be getting all my music exclusively on tape again. And I'll be listening to, mainly now, that's what I call compilations from car boot sales and things like that. But you know what? I'll be listening to I'll have fucking Duran telling me all the secrets about the lizard people. I'll have Enya telling us about the Freemasons. I'll have Phil Collins telling us about the Elders of the Protocols of Zion, or the Protocols of the Elders of Zion, because he's an anti-Semite. Phil Collins can fuck off, by the way, while we're on.
I quite like his music.
Absolutely hate Phil Collins. Was born with an innate hatred of Phil Collins. I was still in my mother's stomach when she went to fucking France for a gig to see Phil Collins, and I was present in that fucking woman's insides. And even then I endured that pain and came out like with, I reckon if I ever saw him, I'd kill him on sight. I'd drop him. And that's just, if you're listening, Phil, right, take that as a threat, because it was intended as one, right? And that's all I've got to say.
Well, don't drop the station completely, Phil. You're probably like the biggest name that listens to us.
Oh, we've got High Ranking.
A few people.
No, I'm joking. High Ranking doesn't listen anymore.
He turns off after 5 minutes. He's like, they're not starting a war. They're not libeling me.
Don't be so sure, son. Yeah, that's it on that one. I think MP3s have killed off the hidden messages in music, and it's I miss them.
Fair.
Thanks.
You really look like you do as well, yeah. I was letting you have a moment there. That felt like a real moment. I got something off my chest before. You've done the same. Nice.
I don't know what else I've read. Ones that we've forgotten about quite quickly. QAnon. Remember that? Remember QAnon?
Yeah, that was huge in 2019, wasn't it? In 2020.
It was huge. It was huge until March, until February. Yeah. So one of the things obviously died with the winning of the election for Mr. Joe Biden. Creepy kid smeller. Well done, creepy kid smeller, old fella Joe Biden. He beat Orange Man, Fat Man, also a little bit of a touchy upper, horrible cunt. But hey, winner of the old man battle. So, the QAnon
what if that's
people.
The best way to win then? Is to, like, they say,
it is.
No. They say, like, control your own opposition, innit? So that's why they have the monopoly laws, but you get around the monopoly laws by having businesses that sort of kind of go against each other, but you own them both.
Yes.
So you own your competition. So I'm not saying that, I would never say that the people in charge are just pretending that there's a two-party system to choose from.
No.
No one thinks that.
No.
But maybe to make the people that you want to vote for you, maybe to make more people vote for you, you might be able to make other people be convinced that the other side believes they're a god. But if you're the one perpetuating that,
I mean, that's what I mean. Both sides have been doing that to each other for fucking years. None of it is about it. It increasingly appears that none of politics is about proving how good your party is. It's all about proving how bad the other party is, which goes to say a lot about politics. When you have nothing good to say about yourself, you've just got a lot of bad things to say about the other people, because you don't want to actually answer any questions about yourself, because then you're on fucking like on your heels. You've got to actually answer issues. You might slip up. You might be honest. Fuck knows. You don't want to be honest. You could be anything but honest. Don't try that. It doesn't work well for anyone.
That's how people are, though.
No
one ever says nice things to say about other people. People always chat shit about other people. So politics is just a reflection of that, surely.
And this is why, and I think it was in the last election in America. There was in one state. I don't know if it was a state, but in one of the like polls, there's two runners, and one of them blatantly basically said like, "Look, this other bloke has the better policies. Is gonna be put in better, like, is gonna be in a better position. I actually fucking want him to win. Please vote for this guy." Like, you never see that anywhere. I was like, that's amazing. You're gonna never go anywhere in your politics life, but
You'd never go
nice
anywhere
person.
In life, generally.
You'll never succeed, but nice person. But with QAnon, for them it didn't die at the election. For them, as with most cults, which it fucking is a cult. I've said this before. The message just changes. The point, the end time changes. The goal changes. Something changes.
Mid-May now, isn't it? Something happens mid-May.
Well, this is the thing. So after the election was lost, their next date was March the 4th. On March the 4th, it was meant to be some sort of reset. So March the 4th, it was either that Trump was going to be announced as the president again, still, or that he was going to be announced as the leader of some brand new party that was going to be the leader of America. It was also meant to be the start of a reset for like the financial world. There were things meant to happen, and big companies were meant to go down. Big banks or whatever were supposed to crash. Debts were meant to be wiped. This reset was meant to happen. Obviously, fucking didn't. We've heard nothing about it since. But again, that's the thing will just change and go on to, like you say, another date. I've not heard about May, but perhaps there is.
I'm sure I've heard something about May.
You're probably right, mate, because that's exactly
March
what
the
happens.
4th's gone.
Exactly. You've got to pick the next one.
Next month. We've not got time to organise for next month. They'll never believe that.
Yeah, you've got to give it to. You got to give it.
Give us 6 weeks. I believe we can do it in 6 weeks.
Got to
Think
get the
about how much
posters.
people change over school holidays.
I've got to get the posters ready. I've got to order all the masks. We've got to get the hot dog stand prepared. Got to get the concessions in. You see that they had a concession stand at the fucking Capitol riots.
No.
There's a fucking stand selling like burgers and shit at the riots. Which is brilliant business.
He's a genius.
That is fantastic business.
That is a clever person.
Absolutely seizing an opportunity, because that is a market.
Makes it very strange.
But it's a market, though. You're hitting your audience.
Almost a trapped market as well, whatever that was the phrase, where you've got them a confined market or whatever they're called. Because the police are going to pen them in.
Yeah.
And to be on the the police come over, or whatever other officials, you're like, have a burger. Have a burger, because you want them to stay near the van so you don't get fucking blown up with fucking using your gas or whatever,
I think in a situation like that, you are definitely seen as
neutral ground.
You're neutral. You are definitely seen as someone who's like untouchable in the conflict. You're seen as a pacifist and just a neutral target. It would not only be considered friendly fire, but it would be considered a war crime, akin to a war crime.
Well, could that mean then that, because they're selling hot dogs are pork? Could that mean that the people behind them riots were Big Pharma with an F, and they did it just to sell sausage?
Well, I've never trusted them. Ronald McDonald and fucking Bernard Matthews.
They say he had a farm. We don't know what he did with it. We don't know who he sold it to. Could Big Pharma have brought out the song Ronald McDonald Had a Farm? McDonald had a farm to fucking taunt him. Yep. He had a farm.
They said he had a farm. He said it was fucking 600 acres. It was actually 2 acres. He said they were. He said he was claiming tax on fucking 12 tractors and getting red diesel for them all. He actually just had a VW Passat that he was running red diesel on about time.
One thing farmers do though is they do lie, don't they, about how many cows they've got and sheep they've got, and they share them around themselves. And when people will come, they'll to do like the bursaries or whatever, they used to share. They used to be like, yeah, borrow mine. Yeah, I'll borrow mine. Just put them in the back fields where they're not going to go.
There's no. Like, hang on a second. I shagged that sheep at Tony's farm 3 weeks ago. There's no way that's Kelly. Kelly,
yeah, I said I'd sign him off for an extra $3,000 if he let me have a ride of Kelly.
Yeah, I've seen. I'd recognise those sultry eyes anyway. You fucking bastard. Last note, right? We've pretty much tanned everything on here. The only thing we didn't touch on was crisis actors. I can't be asked to talk about. I was gonna get you to talk about the other podcast that you've been listening to, so we could get another point about crisis actors. But essentially, no, we didn't do that. What other points have I got on here? Let's go moon landing. Moon landing. Let's not talk about that. Next point I've got Vice Truth Hurts. As part of my research, I watched a couple of videos from this little Vice little sub-series called Truth Hurts. And it's like an anti-conspiracy series. Some of it actually worthwhile. Like some of the points. This is the thing. Some of the points, she addresses the issues like head on. She sources stuff well, but some of it it came from a place of like shaming rather than a place of explaining.
That's what a lot of anti-conspiracy stuff is, though. Make people think that conspiracy theorists are dickheads and nutters, rather than actually explaining the truth behind things. That's why chemtrails got hidden for so long, because they're like, if you believe that, you're mad.
This is my problem with a lot of stuff that is anti-conspiracy.
Scientists, boys and girls.
But this is my problem with a lot of stuff that's like anti that, because a lot of people haven't gone down that belief path because they want to hate the world. They've gone down that belief path because that's been their exposure to life. Like,
yeah,
just because your exposure to life's been different, and you've gone down a path that you believe you're right, and you are probably right, and you can probably prove you're right. Don't shame the person for going down a different path. Educate, yeah, but don't shame. Like we take the piss.
A positive soundbite from Jimmy. He's just ended race war, wars based on religion. It doesn't have to be about conspiracy. You just apply that to life. People are different. Don't be a dick.
Yeah, just don't. We take the piss, but it's very obvious we're taking the piss. There were points on that where it was basically like, I'm speaking down to you. Like, it was all, ha ha, what a dickhead you are for thinking this. Do you know what? Some theories, you have got to be a bit nuts to fucking believe in it. But if you've got to be a bit nuts to believe in it, the people believing it are probably a bit nuts, so fucking go easy on them. Explain to them why it's not. Maybe not go, here, aren't you fucking mental, you daft cunt. Ha ha.
Yeah, learn to speak their language and give them something that's less damaging to believe in.
Yeah. And what else have I got in here? I've got nothing else on here, just nothing. Yeah, we've smashed it. This was 2 hours of truth seeking. We got through that all right.
We did.
We did. I feel we addressed.
We could expand these to 4, 5. We could try. Imagine if we tried to do these for 8 hours, we could fill people's work shifts, mate.
An 8-hour. Do you reckon there is no way any workplace would allow them to play this for 8 hours straight?
Not on the radio, but in their ears. And we could take an half-hour lunch break with them, so we get to control when these people stop, what these people think, what these people eat, what these people do.
You're starting to become the very thing that we're trying to preach against. You're starting to. This is when the hunted becomes a hunter. You're starting to become everything we're trying to fight. And
we're fighting something.
I'm very pleased to see it, to be honest. On that note, we got anything for next week? What the fuck should we do?
Oh, I don't fucking know, man. We'll figure it out the fucking half an hour
Let's
before.
not give them any expectancies beforehand. You're not fucking knowing what you're getting. This has been 25 episodes, right? So do some look. No one, I don't think. In fact, I don't think I know. No one has bought a T-shirt. No one's bought a shower curtain. No one's bought an ashtray. I don't know if you can get ashtrays. You might be able to get ashtrays. There is a Redbubble for truth-seeking shit. You can buy stuff on there. There's a design on there. You can get loads of stuff based on that design. Go on my Instagram. You can get it through the app. Or you can go on Jimmy_B_comedy. That's Instagram. In my bio, there's a link to that. You can buy merchandise.
Well.
It's in fucking. It's in Jack's as well, right? We've got merch. You should fucking get it. Get it for people you like. Get it for people you dislike. Get it for people you don't know. Just send random addresses stuff. Even pay £3 or something for the cheapest item. Just send it to a random address. Right? No name or anything. And just no message. Just send it. And you'll confuse them. Help us. Everyone wins. They get to drink some tea out of a fucking vestibule. Don't know if that's the right word. I think that's possibly not the receptacle. Possibly a better word. And then fantastic word.
I think that's
vestibule,
where you were going for. Vestibule sounds almost religious.
Religious. It is
like
religious.
Something you'd kneel on to pray. Maybe
it is religious. I've
got
it wrong.
Behind the benches.
Yes. But there's merch. You can listen back to all these on the app. You probably are, because I doubt you listen to it live, because you've been listening for 2 hours and 4 minutes, and that's a fucking long slog. Aside from that, Jack's got a website, haven't you, Jack? Do you want to tell him about your stuff so we can fuck off?
Do you want to buy some ball flickers, mate? Fucking made them out of rat skin and that, you know. Yeah. Fucking if you want dead stuff, fucking worldaroundyou.com. I'm not going to bore you with more than right. what you need to know. Absolutely fantastic. Right now, we're going to go and listen to Jack's telly, and he's going to tell us what to do for the next few days. See you later.